the thing that I've often said with our chums, our friends here on the channel is, when you've been given a wonderful opportunity in life, this sort of thing, making lots of money, millions of pounds, you would learn to behave, right? It's like these celebrities that get mega endorsements for allegedly shopping at a store, and then you find a couple of days later them actually shopping at a rival store, clearly not interested, but not very bright, right? Now, this is what's happened of a potential major star over here in the United Kingdom. And a man really that should have known better at 28 years old to say this as he's on the cusp of a multi-million-pound box office mega deal. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good to see you. Thank you so much for your time today. It's true though, isn't it? We've all had them, friends like that. They have a brilliant job and then they kind of ruin it. And you think, why don't you just learn to shut up? You see, last week in the very heart of London, on the birthday of His Majesty the King, King Charles III, he chose to support the British film industry and worldwide. He attended the London premiere of Gladiator 2, a brand new movie by Ridley Scott 24 years down the line. It's been relatively well received, but not, unanimously. And on the red carpet were people like this. Paul Mescal. Now, Paul Mescal has been a sort of a budding star for a while. And the sort of story really is, of course, that he came through via a television series called Normal People. But, that's by the by. This was the big cusp of a role. And prior to the premiere, he was going around saying to journalists, if this gets too big, I will just revert back to doing a small off-West End play. I don't want to be that famous. Well, some people might say he's heading towards that all thanks to this. In a recent interview, he decided to say, it must have been fabulous meeting His Majesty the King. His response was, thereabouts, well, it wasn't on the top list of my priorities. Now, just think about that. Now, I know he's an Irishman, and I get all of that, and this is apparently something connected with that. But then he went on to say, but it was all very pleasant. Counteract that with Ridley Scott, who was absolutely thrilled through the endorsement of His Majesty the King and everybody else that the King drew into the premiere. Behind the scenes, let me tell you, this has gone down like a lead balloon, as you can imagine, because the box office now hinders on people being very offended. You've got to remember, the people that now saw Gladiator 24 years ago possibly are now going to be in their late 40s, early 50s. It's very difficult to lure them into the cinema with those prices and, of course, the state of the economy. The other side of the coin is this, that Paul Mescal probably doesn't think he's done anything wrong. But at 28 years old, couldn't he have just simply said, it was an absolute thrill. I'm so glad he came out to support our wonderful movie. Terrific to see him. Not very bright and clearly not looking at the long-term future. Either way, it's going to be interesting now to see how this plays out for him and for the movie. But one thing's for sure, somebody behind the scenes is definitely gunning for some, shall we say, retribution. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.